Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'll be talking about the Spider-Noir Amazon TV show. In this video, I'll be giving my full review on what I thought about the show. But before we get to any of that, make sure to subscribe, comment, share, and turn on those notifications so you can know when I post a new video. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so before I get my thoughts on the show, I'm gonna give a quick little recap of what the show is about. The show is set in the 1930s, New York, and Spider-Noir follows Nicolas Cage as Ben Reilly, a worn-down private investigator who once operated as the city's max vigilante, the Spider. After a personal tragedy forced him into retirement, a wave of superpowered criminals and organized crime drags him back into the action. As he investigates a conspiracy involving mob boss Silvermane, wartime experiments, and dangerous villains, Ben must confront his past and decide whether he can still be a hero. The series blends classic detective noir with superhero action, featuring both black and white and colored versions of the show. Alright, now let's talk about it. First thing I want to talk about is how great Nicolas Cage did as Spider-Man, or the Spider. Me personally, when I heard Nicolas Cage was gonna play the main Spider-Man in the show, I had like mixed opinions on it. I love the fact that we're gonna have a very familiar voice playing the character that we saw in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but at the same time, I also want like a younger type of looking actor to play the Spider, because before I watched the show, I wanted to prepare myself, so I started reading the comic books, and in the comics, Peter is not old, like at all. He's actually young, and he's just a very young detective, instead of being like a young newspaper reporter, like he is in the original timelines. So when I heard that Nicolas Cage was gonna be in the show as the main lead, I had mixed emotions about it, but honestly, after seeing his performance, I have zero complaints. He absolutely nailed this role. I mean, what did I expect? It's Nicolas Cage. He's gonna nail whatever role he's in. And it's kind of crazy because we've seen Nicolas Cage in so many other superhero-related shows and movies. Not really shows, but really just movies. We've seen him as both Ghost Rider and Superman. Bro's played two of the most iconic superheroes of all time. Or at least he's appeared as these characters. Because he didn't really play Superman, he just appeared as the character. But I still believe his most iconic role for him personally is Ghost Rider. Whenever I think of Ghost Rider, I think of Nicolas Cage. Alright, moving on, let's talk about how this show is completely different from the traditional Spider-Man character. We all know Spider-Man as this nerdy kid when he's Peter Parker, who goes to high school and just not like Mr. Popular, but he's really to himself, has one really good friend, has a crush on this girl. You know, we all know that story. And you know, when he's Spider-Man, he's confident, he's whimsical, he's making jokes, he's the iconic great superhero of New York. In this show, the Spider is nothing like that. When he's not Spider-Man, he's this broody and just kind of depressed type of person who doesn't really care or act like he doesn't care about anything. Not really nonchalant, but just genuine uninterest in everything he does. Or at least that's how he acts. And then when he's Spider-Man, it's not anything better. He's washed. He's like completely out of his prime. He's losing fights left and right until the last minute, which I'm not gonna lie, that made me so mad throughout this entire show. Whenever he got into a fight, he would just continue to lose. And me personally, I hate seeing some of my favorite characters, or just like the main character of any project, lose in a fight until the last minute. It's like watching the Rocky movies. He gets beat until like the last minute, he pulls through the win somehow. But the show didn't really focus on the action aspect of Spider-Man. It really zeroed down on the detective side of this character. And I'm not gonna lie, that is some of the greatest stuff in the show. Whenever he's doing his detective work, or like working on a case, or like trying to crack the code of whatever he's like dealing with, it's so interesting. And that aspect of the show for me carried it, along with the acting from all the other supporting actors and characters in the show. Speaking of which, the villains in the show were done, if you ask me, pretty dang good. And I gotta give props to whoever played Electro. I absolutely hated Electro in this show, but that goes to show that the actor did a great job with the character. I'm pretty sure you're meant to kind of hate the character. Same thing goes for the actor who played Sandman. And I also want to point out that how every single one of the villains actually have like a contributing plot and arc to the story. Like, they're not just like background like villains who Spider-Man runs in and like defeats once in a while. No, they actually have some purpose to the story. Like, they have lives, and you can feel that. Like, Sandman and Tombstone's story in the show actually held weight. You could see like how their lives were, where they came from, how they all kind of came up together because they were all experimented on during the war. It just makes it more personal, and it makes you as a viewer care about it more and care about the lives of the villains. Like, the only villain I did not care about at all was Electro, but Lonnie and Flint, I did not want either of those guys to die, because in reality, they're good people who got put in a terrible situation and had to kind of deal with the cards that they were dealt. And I also want to point out how the show gives you the option to watch it in color and in black and white. That, in my opinion, was actually so creative. And I watched the show both in color and black and white. And I can confidently say that black and white is like 1,000 times better than in color. I watched the whole thing like when I first watched it in black and white, because I was like, this is like the only way that you have to do this, at least in my eyes. And it was a great experience. You got to really feel like that 1930s like detective noir type of style. And I'm pretty sure this film was kind of shot in a certain way where it's meant to be watched in black and white. Because when I went back to rewatch the show in color, some of the scenes and shots just didn't hit as hard as they did in black and white. And I feel like it kind of takes away from the feel of the show. I feel like the show is supposed to feel kind of gloomy and dark. And when you watch it in color, you get to see like the entire world is so colorful. Like everybody's wearing a different type of color suit and nothing feels depressing or gloomy about the show. And I feel like that kind of takes away from the experience, in my opinion. I also want to talk about the supporting characters in the show. Robbie and Janet did a fantastic job. I actually love these characters so much. And this show proves that you can have a whole bunch of characters in one show and have the show only have 10 episodes and still handle each and every character in a correct way without it feeling rushed. I feel like every single one of these characters have like the perfect amount of screen time, lines, and scenes, and they all held weight. Like I actually cared about Janet and Robbie. When Robbie was posing as Spider Noir and he got electrocuted by Electro, I thought he died. I'm not gonna lie. I was like genuinely concerned. All these actors did a great job with the roles that they were given, along with the actress that plays Cat Hardy, aka the Black Cat in the show. She did a fantastic job as her character. And by the way, I don't really know any of these people's real names, and I don't really know the names of these actors, so I'm just gonna go by the names that they were given in the show. And I love how this show gives us like all the kind of classic Spider-Man characters. Like we got Sandman, Electro, Tombstone, Black Cat, Silvermane, all these classic supervillains that we've seen before, but they add their own little twist to them. Like I was kind of wondering how they were gonna do Black Cat or Sandman and Electro in like a universe that seems so grounded, but it worked. I thought they were gonna go like the complete like grounded way and give Electro some type of like suit that gives him his powers, but no, they just went completely with like the kind of comical route and said that they were experimented on. They got these powers like through experiments that they went through during the war, and it all made sense. And Silvermane was a great villain. Like him being the person behind all the madness that goes down in this show was perfectly done. I don't really have a lot of complaints for the show other than like the fight scenes, but I understand like this show was not really meant to be like action packed. It's like a detective story, so I'm not that mad at it. And plus, he's completely out of his prime. He has been Spider-Man for like 5 years, which is also a crazy difference with this Spider-Man than any other Spider-Man we've seen in live action or cartoons. Like we've all seen Spider-Man go through something very tragic where he takes a break from being a superhero, but we've never seen a Spider-Man take like a whole half decade not being a superhero. Like we've seen Spider-Man take like a couple months off, couple days, weeks, like maybe like half a year or maybe a full year. But 5 years, this guy just didn't care at all. And we also get to see like where this character's like morality lies. Because there's a scene in this show, which honestly is one of the greatest scenes in the show, where he's talking to Robbie and we get to see the true like character of how Ben Reilly is. Like he was talking about how he was only a superhero because it made him feel good. He was a very selfish superhero. We all know Spider-Man. He is one of the most unselfish characters of all time. He puts the other people and the city before himself like every single time, even when he doesn't like it, but he knows it's his responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. Like that's like the Spider-Man quote. And Ben Reilly just didn't care about that at all in this show. But I think they did that on purpose so they have the option to continue the story if they want to. I'm pretty sure the end of the show, I think he's back as Spider-Man. And I'm not gonna lie, I would love to see a season 2 of the show when they introduce like more villains. I would love to see like their version of Green Goblin, Dr. Octavius the Lizard, like all those characters. I would love to see a season 2 with this show. But yeah, not that much complaints about it. I personally loved it, and I'm gonna give it a good 9 out of 10, maybe like a 9.5. But let me know y'all's thoughts about this show in the comments down below if you've watched it, and let me know specifically if you watched it in color or black and white and which version you liked the best. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.